Welcome back to the Modern Ham, where we are connected in new old ways. Today we're going to field test the EmComm Tools Community Edition by TheTechPrepper, so stay tuned. Alright, so if you're unaware, EmComm Tools is a Linux distribution or modification of Ubuntu, I believe 22.10, put together and built by Gaston, or TheTechPrepper, better known as, or KT7RUN here on YouTube. And it was made to be a way to facilitate amateur radio digital communication in the event of emergency, or if the grid goes down, or if there's no other means of communication, in such a way that you can just pick up your devices, plug them in, and they just work. Now, there's two different schools of thought in amateur radio. I know a lot of us really just assume that others are in for the hobby or just for the tinkering and the hacking and stuff, but there are a big group of people who are involved in amateur radio for the purpose of disaster preparedness. Sometimes those two ideas compete because other people assume that this person's operating for this reason, and those are just two different, basically, ways of operating, right? Gaston, or TheTechPrepper, has put together EmComm Tools as a plug-and-play system. It's not meant to be hacked around with. It's not meant to be modified or anything besides the implementations that he does, kind of like the Apple approach. But in the end, it makes it so that if you need something to work, it is going to work, right? That is the goal. If you have a radio that's supported, you just follow the directions, plug the radio in. We don't want to be hacking around or doing some kind of crazy stuff to try to make some obscure protocol thing work that we don't even need. It is very purpose-built. It is using amateur radio as a tool, is kind of the goal in mind, is his motto, tools not toys. So I'm excited to actually try EmComm Tools out in the field, and I'm going to give it a few tests here to see if it works. Now, I have skipped ahead a little bit. I hope this is okay with you, Gaston. And I've actually built a revision, I think, 4 build 8, or maybe I had those two numbers around, that was, I think, projected to be released maybe later this year. So I'm kind of in the future here, so if you see any bugs or anything strange, it could just be that the bugs and things like this have not been ironed out yet. This is a edition that is not ready for release yet, but I do believe that number 3, revision 3, or build 3, whichever one, is available through his channel at TheTechPrepper. If you just go onto his channel, I think you may have to use the Buy Me a Coffee links to go in and actually get that. It could be wrong. It is here, and I am testing it. And I'm going to field test it, which means I'm going to bring the distribution out without internet, without access to other tools, and there's a couple objectives that I'd like to do. I would like to, one, very simply plug in my mobile radio in my car, and I want to be able to send an APRS message over that radio. I also want to be able to dial into my BBS that is back home with that radio. And I also want to be able to send a Winlink message from that radio. And hopefully that will all be a plug-and-play system with my DigiRig Mobile, which is supported. Next thing I'd like to do is test out the position or GPS system. I think it's called Navit is the tool that's on the operating system. I'd like to be able to navigate to a place that I've never been before using the Navit built-in navigator and a GPS dongle. So that will be kind of objective 2. Can I use it to navigate? Next thing I'd like to do is just look out some facts about the town that I'm in that I don't know about, right? So there is also a built-in Wikipedia offline viewer, and during the install process I did install that and download the offline database. So I'm going to look up my town and see if there's anything useful in that Wikipedia database, maybe around the region that I'm in. And going on up, I did something that I probably shouldn't have done, and I've hacked a unsupported radio into the OS. I know, I just talked about this is not something to be hacked around with. I'm not going to Gaston for support for this. I realize that this is something that I probably shouldn't have done, that I'm doing myself on my own accord. I'm not asking him to modify it or for help with any of this, right? So I did hack my X6100 into the scripts, into the supported radios. It may not have full support because I was kind of just looking his notes and trying to figure out what he had done to add radios, and I didn't really ask for guidance on this. So I was able to get my X6100 added and key up. We're going to field test it to see if it actually works out there, but I am not going to grade EmComm Tools on the the ability to use this radio. It is mostly a bonus. If this radio works, then that means I was able to put my own radio in on top of JSA call probably working. The very last test I'd like to do, and this is kind of on my own, partly because I just put ARDOP support into my BBQ instance. So I'm going to test ARDOP from EmComm Tools, and I'm not going to fault it if ARDOP doesn't work because I'm using an unsupported radio, and I'm also testing it for the first time with my own system. I haven't tested any of this outside. So we're going to roll out into the field, and we're going to see if it can at least get me some information, see if it can navigate me around, see if I can get some APRS messages out, see if I can get a Winlink message out, all offline without any type of additional support, and let's get to it. So for the first test, I'm just going to see if EmComm Tools can get me where I need to go. I'm going to take my little USB GPS receiver here, and I'm just going to plug it into the back of this laptop. Again, this is a place I have not been before. So EmComm Tools is up. Let's see if it detects the USB, the GPS, which these GPSs are really, really cheap, so it might take a moment to actually find. All right, so it looks like I did receive a GPS fix. So we're going to open up this Navit application, and I've set one bookmark to tell me basically where I want to go. Let me make sure that that's set right. Navigation, and we're going to do bookmarks, and this park. This is going to be kind of where I'm testing. I'll set that as the destination. Let's see, so it does show the street that I'm on, which is kind of neat. Can we do route, directions? Wow, so it actually does show the roads and the actual amount of distance that we need to go. This thing's actually talking to me, which is kind of cool.
Turn left now.
So I don't have to do the dangerous thing that I'm doing right now, which I'm going like 5 miles per hour, guys. I'm not really, well, I guess the speed thing on the bottom right kind of tells on me, but I'm being safe, right? I'm still looking at the road. I got one hand on the steering wheel. I don't even really see where the camera's pointing, but I just wanted to illustrate, okay, it is telling me exactly where to go. I don't even really have to look at the screen. So
Turn
let's
right in 300 feet into 4-mile road.
So I'll see you all here at the destination. It looks like we are in fact coming up on our destination. I think there was a park on one side and then a church on the other if I looked at Google Maps. So, oh, Union City, I think there's the church. Oh, there's the church. All right, so we made it to our destination. So good on navigation. The next thing I want to do is try to send or connect to my BBS and possibly also try to do a Winlink message over my BBS or RMS. So I've set this radio here to 144.915, which is my RMS or BBS frequency, and I've connected EmComm Tools to whatever this radio is, my 2-meter radio. And now I'm going to go ahead and pull up the ET radio tool. Let's go with the DigiRig Mobile No Cat. All right. Okay, good. We can use our... Awesome. So we can use our hand to select that. That's kind of cool. All right. And I've set my radio up accordingly, hopefully. And now we're going to go ahead and do ET mode. To select the mode. And we'll do the BBS client first. Oh, I actually didn't plug in my DigiRig. Well, thank you, EmComm Tools, for letting me know. So you'll also notice here, once I plug this in, it should say connected. Yeah, there we go. So it should say connected over here once we actually have that plugged in correctly. All right, and then we're going to do connect. And we're going to try to connect to the BBS. All right, we're getting some type of failure here. I'm not sure what's happening with the radio. All right, so I actually had my radio squelch on, so that could have been the issue that I was having. Oh, okay, yeah, so once the squelch was turned off on the radio, what do you know? Everything seems to be working. So, and just to make sure, you know, we'll go into the BBS, and we'll do LB for list bulletins. But if I can get into the BBS, theoretically, I can do Winlink. I can do all those things, right? So I am going to just do Winlink separately to test EmComm Tools itself. But BBS is working. BBS client, awesome. So thumbs up on that. I was able to get into it. Let's go ahead and just change the mode. So I'm going to hit the up arrow here. we're going to go ET mode, and let's go ahead and go down to, let's try Winlink Packet, okay? And hopefully by the time we have connected to this, that bulletin list would have timed out. That was just way too much. I got to have way too many bulletins on there to be doing all that. All right, so let's go ahead and tap this here. AX25, we're connecting to KN4 MKB-10. It doesn't really matter the frequency because this is a digi-rig. It's not going to set it anyways. Let's see if I can check in Winlink. All right, there we are. So we were able to get Winlink pretty easily. I don't think I have any Winlink messages, but Winlink, yes. We're going to try to send a message. So let's do action, and we're going to compose, and we'll send this to, where's the keyboard? So the keyboard's not coming up there. That's interesting. Okay, that's fine. I actually have a keyboard. I was just really testing to see if I could do it with that one. Let me go ahead and type that message out. All right, so I got the message typed out. So that should send it to KN4MKB at themodernham.com. Let's go ahead and post it. So it should be in the outbox. And now once again, we'll connect to KN4MKB-10, which is my Winlink RMS node. And there it goes out of the outbox. Boom. We just sent a Winlink email. So thumbs up on that. Winlink is going out. Very cool. Let's see what else we can do here. So now let's take a look at APRS. So I said I wanted to send an APRS message. So we're going to use yet another ARPS client. And this will be also a way to test the GPS to see if the integration is working okay there. And this is my old location. The map's working. Anyways, we're doing APRS, so I'm going to change the frequency to 144.390. Actually, I can't change the frequency on this radio without plugging in the hand mic. I don't even know if there's any digi-peters close by enough to actually hit on this frequency. So this is definitely like a real life test. So here I'm going to go to view, and we're just going to look at raw packets to see what could potentially be coming through here. And we'll try to maybe send a beacon out. There is actually an APRS digipeater, and it did come back to me. We should be able to, hopefully these guys in iGate, and we'll be able to send a message out. I'm doxing myself by showing my phone number, but whatever. This is all APRS packets that are actively coming through. These are a couple stations that are showing on the map. And these are all RF-based stations. So this is all stations that I've sit here and actually received. And I've been able to also beacon my location out and see it on APRS.fi. So the APRS integration is definitely working. And you can use this, I guess, to do all sorts of really fun things. But we can use this, right? We can send out messages. So the APRS ability is working. Now, I did say I also wanted to test out to see if I can't look up something about the location I'm in. Union City, which I've never been to. So we're going to pull up the Wikipedia application. Let's see, where is that at? This Kiwix. So we should be able to browse the offline Wikipedia database that was downloaded during the EmComm Tools installation. I think that's in Wikipedia. Wikipedia. Open. And we're going to search for, now let's go ahead and close out the APRS so we know that works. All right, so the keyboard's not coming up again. I'm not sure if that's just like a weird glitch. Okay, that's fine. I'll type it out. Okay, I did figure out how to do the keyboard. You actually just swipe up. All right, cool. So Union City, and we are in, I guess there isn't even a Union City. Welcome to the Union City. It's not a Kentucky thing, apparently. Interesting. Okay, well, let's try Richmond, because I am in Richmond. All right, Richmond, Kentucky. There we are. So let's see. We can pull this up and see all kinds of details about Richmond. Madison County, maybe? Get more references here. Census Bureau. Okay, anyways, we get the point. We can look up all kinds of things. We can say plants or whatever, you know, whatever information we might want to see without the internet. We have a whole offline database full of stuff that we can look up and try out. So that basically does it for EmComm Tools for the 2-meter portion. This thing has basically done everything that I've asked it to do. It got us here. We did an APRS message. We sent a Winlink message. We connected to the BBS. It was all plug and play. I have never used this radio with EmComm Tools. I've never used it maybe once or twice with this cable that I made. So it was a plug and play experience. The GPS was a plug and play experience. Everything so far has been very smooth. Now we're going to get into kind of the bonus points. Can we use my hacked in radio, my unsupported radio, and connect possibly over ARDOP to the Winlink? Let's find out. Being this church, there's actually nowhere around to put an HF antenna, the wire one I have. So we're going to go back home. Let's see if this thing can take us back home. I hope so, right?
Turn right in 175 feet.
Let's go
City Road KY
home.
1986. Turn right 10 into
See if it gets us there. All right, so I have some type of level of off-gridness to this. I've at least just pulled into my driveway, and I'm not getting out of my car. I'm still not using the internet, still not using all these things. I'm just going to plug in this X6100 into the antenna, let it tune up, and we're going to see first if my implementation for the X6100 works on GS8. And this is all bonus points at this point because the X6100 is not a supported radio at this point on EmComm Tools. I hacked it in. So I'm going to connect it up, and first we're going to check out JSA call to see if cat control works, if push to talk works, and things like that. Again, I'm going to be putting power into a coil, basically a dummy load, so I don't expect to see anything. And then I'm also going to see if my ARDOP is working, my ARDOP Winlink connection is working. So this is all bonus points at this point. Let's see what happens. And now I'm going to set it over to my X6100 implementation. Okay. So these are all like things that I've put in here. This isn't Gaston. All right, so the radio set 6100, cat's not connected. All right, let's see what happens when we plug in our 6100. All right, 6100 is plugged in. Let's see if EmComm Tools can detect it. Let's try to start an application. Let's do a JSA call. So my radio did change frequencies. Can we set it to the JSA call frequency? So it is working. Originally, this right here was at least doing something. Oh well. I really don't expect me to hear anything, right? I will send out a heartbeat. My radio is transmitting. And then I'll send out a message to all call. Basically, we're going to ask if you heard me. I don't expect that to work. I was mostly just seeing if JS8 would key this radio that I've added, which it is. So already, yep, thumbs up. JS8 is, I mean, it's working in my book. I'm putting a signal out, and I'm getting a waterfall for the radio in for one that's not even supported. So seems to be okay in my book. But let's take a look at ARDOP. I will be really surprised if this works. So let's go back to mode. So let's go to Winlink ARDOP. Listening ARDOP. The transport, I guess we need to change to ARDOP here. And we'll go into KN4 MKB-10. And we're going to hit connect. The X6100 is keying. Oh, I'm not on the right frequency. Oops. So my nodes actually I need to set to, I guess we could actually try to do the cat control from here. That would be neat. So let's do this. Now let's try to, well, we need to change our target to KN4 MKB-10. Oh shoot, I accidentally clicked one of these up here. Okay, come on. I much prefer a physical keyboard, but I was kind of doing this just to test out the keyboard. in a tablet mode. But this right here, this where it keeps changing every time I type in a number, is really annoying. I don't know if there's a way to correct that from here, but that's the reason we're doing it, right? So change back to the correct frequency. Awesome. Let's put in the right call sign, KN4MKB-10. I'm going to be kind of excited if this works, because if this works, that means my BBQ node is also listening on ARDOP. All right, so that all looks correct. Let's hit connect. Doesn't look like we're putting out any power. Let's try this again. This time I'm going to disconnect the GPS, and then we're going to disconnect the 6100, and we're going to set it back to the 6100. And now we're going to connect it once more. Okay. Again, this is experimental. I added this in, or no, I didn't bother Gaston with any of this, but you can see that now we have that audio C Media Electronics and the X6100 as I intended. Now let's go back and try ARDOP inside of the Pat Winlink again. And we'll put another thing in our outbox here. We'll go and compose, and this time we know to use the keyboard. All right, ARDOP TEP, good enough for me. Let's post it. Now let's see if we can't connect out. All these settings look correct. Let's cross our fingers. Oh, it says connected. All right. So we are getting a signal here on the waterfall. Look at that, we're sending our ARDOP message. First ARDOP connection on my node. Look at that, from EmComm Tools. Or EmComm Tools. Look at that, the first ARDOP connection my node has ever had for Winlink, and it is from EmComm Tools. Look at that, the message is going across. We're almost there. Seems kind of slow, probably because I'm transmitting into a dummy load and whatever Chinese radio, but it is working nonetheless. It looks like our message seemed to have gone out the outbox, so we have that going on for us. Honestly, I expected something to go wrong here, but EmComm Tools passed every single test that I gave it, including the bonus tests that I didn't honestly think would work out that well. So just to reiterate, I put in a location of a place I've never been to before and to the latitude and longitude, and it was able to navigate me there successfully. I was also able to, when I got there, send an APRS message, as well as populate the APRS beacons on the map. I was able to connect to my own BBS node. I was able to send a message to a friend who hopefully will be forwarded over HF later. This is kind of experimental on my part. I was also able to get on the offline Wikipedia and look up a couple of facts about the town that I was in. And as a bonus points, I was also able to connect to Winlink, obviously, over to my Winlink node over 2 meters and send an email. But as bonus points, I was also able to add my own radio in, which I don't advise anybody do, because Gaston is already very busy, I'm sure, with all the other things that he has to do with EmComm Tools, and he has a process for submitting those, and I'm sure he will provide guidance to do that. But I was able to hack my own radio in regardless and connect for the first time any connection ARDOP to my Winlink node at home over HF, and I was able to send an email out that way. So all kinds of wins all around the board. Honestly, looking back now, I kind of wish I would have made it a little bit harder, because it kind of aced all of the tests that I needed it to ace, and all of the functions did work plug and play, with the exception of a few little operator errors on my part, mostly due to the squelch. There's not really much feedback I can give. Everything mostly worked. The only unintuitive part was that some of the applications with the keyboard didn't come up automatically. I had to figure out that I needed to swipe up from the bottom. Just a little silly thing on my part. Also, the keyboard, on-screen keyboard, just swapping to the numbers automatically was a little annoying when I was putting in frequencies, but again, this is extremely nitpicky stuff. The fact that all of the other things ran so well, that's all I have to do is really just nitpick the silly stuff. So EmComm Tools, pretty good stuff. Appreciate Gaston for giving me the opportunity to test that out, and I look forward to the releases in the future, and also some of the bulletin board stuff that he's doing in EmComm Tools in the future as well. Anyways, thank you guys so much, and 73 to you.